So today is a Saturday afternoon and we are right here in 127 Devonshire Road. And where is this place? This is actually our One Global office right in the heart of Singapore prime address. So today on my right, we have none other than Chris Frame from GetGround over here. And the reason why we have him here as our guest today is because we understand for the last few months, many of you have been asking us about how do you actually buy a UK property or homes using a company name. So we thought, who else better than to invite Chris Frame to share with us. So with that, I would like to ask, how are you, Chris?
Very well indeed, thanks, Sean. Thank you for having me on this rainy afternoon.
Thank you. I know you have been quite busy because you've been going around, people have been asking about UK property, buying through a company names. Maybe today, take the opportunity to share with our clients over here why people has been buying UK property through a company names, what are the good, what are the not so good, maybe if there is. And with that, guys, let us pass the moment over to Chris.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the warm welcome indeed. My name is Chris. I'm the VP of Growth for GetGround. We've got offices here in Singapore as well as in Hong Kong, and then our headquarters are in the UK in London. We're founded by two Singaporean brothers. They're actually in London, and then myself, a Brit, is in Singapore. And at GetGround, what we do, we specialise in setting up and then running UK limited companies for the sole purpose of buying investment property in the UK. So really the benefits of using a limited company tend to only exist if you're actually investing in property. So I wouldn't really recommend using a limited company structure or indeed our services if you were looking to purchase for your own use. But from an investment perspective, the use of a limited company has many, many advantages to it. And what GetGround are actually doing is making those advantages more accessible to all of the investors. And what we've actually done is designed a very quick, very simple solution. All can be done online, all done remotely. And we can set up a UK limited company for the individual. We would register that company with Companies House, which if you're in Singapore, that's the ACRA equivalent. We would then structure that limited company for the investor as per their own wishes. We would produce and verify all of the legal documentation for that limited company, and importantly, that allows that limited company to actually purchase and hold that investment property in the UK. And then very importantly, we'd also open a UK financial bank account for that limited company. And again, all of that can be done remotely, all done online, very, very quickly. So from a customer's perspective, it'd take 20 to 30 minutes or so. Thereafter, in terms of the ongoing management side of things, we will actually do all of the financial administration for that limited company. So we would do all of the accountancy side, the tax filing, the tax auditing, the bookkeeping services, company tax returns. We undertake the role of the company secretary.
That's a lot of things.
We also act as the registered office address. So we provide a very comprehensive one-stop solution, both on the setup, but then also on the ongoing administration and actual financial management. Designed to be very quick, designed to be very cost-effective as well. And I think really that's what GetGround ultimately are bringing to the marketplace. We're removing two of the biggest prohibitive factors that have previously existed when setting up a limited company. It's actually been a very popular route to try and undertake for many, many years. But previously it's been very, very expensive to set up a limited company and then very expensive to run a limited company each year. And then secondly, it's been very time consuming. I'm sure you all know about this as well, but to set up a limited company, particularly from an international client or a non-UK resident basis, can take weeks and months to set up a limited company, and then the time involvement that's needed to then run that company again is enormous. So really we're just removing those two factors from the marketplace to make these, as I say, these benefits more accessible. In terms of those benefits, the one that tends to get the most amount of attention is, of course, the tax efficiencies. Very simply, buy-to-let investment property is the same really as any other business. And limited companies were designed to make businesses more efficient. And so very much the same principles actually apply when using a limited company structure when purchasing an investment property. So there's a number of tax efficiencies. Investors like that because that increases profits, increases returns, it improves cash flows. But there are many other advantages as well. It creates a scenario where it offers greater protection. There is a reduced liability, reduced personal liability. The limited companies that we create are their own individual entities, and that entity actually owns the property, but also with it takes on all of the debt, all of the liabilities, particularly around the mortgage financing side of things. It's a mechanism that makes it very, very easy to buy and sell with multiple people.
Right.
We set up limited companies, all of them have 100 shares. And then those shares can be allocated and proportioned however the investors wish to do so. So really easy to structure. It can improve and help with estate and inheritance planning purposes. Important to note, these are not tax avoidance schemes, but it does help create greater flexibility around estate planning and help mitigate those taxes. And it's probably best to have individual conversations with each customer to sort of explain that in a bit more detail, because every situation will be unique. And then finally, and I think this is the other big thing that has changed in the last sort of 5 to 10 years, is that financing is now a lot easier to get in a limited company. It's become it's essentially no longer specialist lending, is what I would say. So there's a number of mortgage options. In 2019 alone, there were over 30,000 buy-to-let properties purchased in the UK that used a limited company and also that took out a mortgage. So the market is really increasing in its size, very fast growing, and so plenty of options available as well. And then in terms of the tax efficiencies, again, it might be easier to sort of talk to people individually, but there's a number of benefits that come, particularly during the ownership and then the exit side of things. One key thing to mention is that on entry, stamp duty remains exactly the same if you were purchasing in your personal name. So there's no financial gain or disadvantage on that side of things. Two key benefits, and again, I'm happy to go into a bit more detail as necessary, but the two key benefits during ownership are the ability still to, when using a limited company, to offset your mortgage interest against that income. Important to note that unfortunately now, since 2015, anyone that owns an asset in the UK that is generating an income will be liable for income tax. And in your own personal name, you can now no longer offset that mortgage. And given that tends to be the highest associated cost to this investment, having that ability to offset against that income can be very advantageous, a significant saving. And then more importantly, particularly for your international clients, the ability to then withdraw money out of that property and out of that limited company very efficiently exists, because as a non-UK resident, there is 0% income tax on dividend income. And again, because we will undertake the role of company secretary, we will help document and process all of that for individuals. So they're kind of the two key benefits during ownership. And then on exit, there are reduced capital gains taxes, and that's a big saving. And particularly with investors tending to hold property, we saw some research recently that tended to indicate investors holding property for 8 to 10 years on average. And that's a time frame where property prices can double in the UK historically. So, with that in mind, any capital gain saving can be quite a significant amount of money.
Right.
And then I guess finally a little bit just about our fees. So we have a one-time setup fee, which is £500 per limited company. That includes all of the setup processes that I mentioned: the opening, the creation of the company, the registration, the structuring, the legal documentation, and indeed the opening of the UK bank account. And then our running costs, the financial administration costs, are £20 per month. And again, that includes absolutely everything relating to all financial administration of that limited company: the accountancy, tax filing, auditing, the company secretarial services, and the company registered office address as well. And very importantly, there are no additional bank charges either.
Okay. Good to know.
And that is, well, a brief overview of GetGround, but I probably rambled for too long.